Hello, everybody. John here. Welcome back to the channel. As always, sorry for any noise in the background. I am at work. At least here in this particular part of the job, the only noise that comes on is the occasional heater. So you might hear that in the background. Sorry about that. Sorry I just got done working as well. So we have quite a bit of news to talk about. Stuff I want to get out there. So the first thing is the special video that has been coming out soon. I have something pretty different. You might see something a little different. That's not black screen. So hopefully people will like it. It's gonna be pretty extreme. It might even be taken down from YouTube, but I've been working on this for a little while now, and hopefully that it will come out pretty good. So keep an eye on that. Probably coming out next week, maybe the week after at the latest. So we'll see from there. Basically, I'm looking at a list of like real life stuff, and then on the other side is like gaming stuff. So the other big piece of news is Black Sabbath and their reunion tour with Ozzy Osbourne, and this came out at the same time as Ozzy Osbourne announcing his last concerts. I mean, just the fact that the guy is alive is just beyond a miracle. The guy's done basically every kind of drug under the sun. He's done a lot of really fucked up shit to himself. And, he's just been rock and rolling and doing metal for, 60 years at this point. Yeah, about late 1960s, early 70s. And all right, sorry, my math is wrong. Well over 50 years, but it's getting there. It's getting to that big old 6-0. Um, just props to the guy for just doing it so long. I just feel really bad for him because he's got Parkinson's, and he's got a lot of other, physical and mental stuff going on. So it's hard to see him do, still pushing for those concerts. And one thing I heard recently, well, I forgot who it was. I think it was Sebastian Bach. He said that one time he met with Ozzy, and Ozzy was nervous. He said, "Why are you so nervous?" He was like, "Well, I'm afraid no one's gonna come." Sebastian Bach pulls back the curtain. There's at least 30,000 people out there. He's like, "Ozzy, you're the biggest, you're the biggest metal singer, rock and roll singer, whatever, in history. You have created an entire genre of music. Whether you did it on purpose or not, people are gonna come no matter what." So that's a little story I heard that was really really funny, but also shows a little bit of the human side. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne was always honest about stuff, so one last show. Hopefully, it'll be the biggest metal show in history. I'm hoping for probably the biggest crowd ever. War Pigs come on, oh boy, and Crazy Train. But Black Sabbath though, when that song plays, I think that'll be making metal history yet again. So good luck to Ozzy Osbourne and his future, and I still hope that he lives a good life. Hopefully he doesn't die soon after, because that would be really sad. Obviously, I mean, if he dies, he dies. It's sad either way. But I hope he spends the last years of his life surrounded by family and stuff, and knowing that he made a huge impact on this world. So the go to a funny one. At the Grammys, there was a huge metal scene there because so many metal bands were coming out. Two big ones was Spiritbox and Gojira. They're kind of back to back a little bit. So the lead singer of Spiritbox, Courtney LaPlante, when she was being interviewed, the interviewee kept calling her Poppy because she thought that because they look similar, which they really don't, in my opinion. But she thought that Poppy did something with Spirit Box. But what realistically happened was, I already talked about this. Poppy did a live concert and also did a couple, I think just one song. Yeah, one song with Knocked Loose. that ended up on Jimmy Kimmel. But the interview could counter Poppy. But the funny thing is, Courtney just ran with it. She just ran with it. She was like, "Yep, I'm Poppy." You know, as a member of the new member of Spirit Box, and everyone in it was great. But also, Knocked Loose was great. It was just funny seeing that, and everyone's running with it now. Is a huge meme, and we need a lot more metal memes. I'm sorry, I'm like slurring my words a lot. I'm really tired and it's cold, so there's that. But with the bitching out of the way, let's go to Gojira. And Gojira, for the first time in years, ever actually, they won a Grammy, and they've been nominated like I think it was like 4 or 5 times before. So fifth or sixth time, is the one, and they won it because of their opening with the Olympics, which I talked about before. So we're entering that territory of me calling back to my old videos. So that's actually a good feeling. But Gojira, they nailed it. They fucking nailed it at the Olympics. Oh my God, it was amazing. It was probably the best opening to a sports event I've ever seen, and probably the best Olympic opening ever. So hats off to them. Hats off to them. They did a fantastic job, and they deserve that Grammy. Oh boy, do they ever. So congratulations to them. Now this was a little bit of I don't want to say a pity one, because this has a lot of nuance now thinking about it. But so let me set the stage. So there's this podcast on YouTube called the Garza Podcast, not the Gaza Podcast. That's a different podcast about something very serious. But the Garza Podcast, basically this guy who interviews like different metal bands, hardcore bands, all these different genres, and they have Stick to Your Guns on. And the clip that's been going around a lot is Jesse Barnett not being a straight edge anymore, and him having as always, a controversial take. The guy's a walking controversial factory. You gotta admit, he does that on a pretty good whim. But basically, he said that his brother was always a stoner and a weed head, and Jesse Burnett, he was suffering from a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and a lot of fear, and he was going to be on medicine. And his brother was like, "Well, before you go on the medicine, and while you're also taking medicine, try smoking weed, or taking like THC, gummies and stuff like that." And ever since, Jesse said, he's been, his worldview changed after doing that, because he's become such a more calm person, a lot more leveled, not as anxiety fueled and like jittery. And it was a funny moment because, when he was like, "Oh, fuck, I got to tell the band," and because everyone else in the band was basically straight edge. So he went from the least, who would be the least scary, to the most angry, which would be Josh. And I have the same opinion as Josh, and I think most people do. He's a full grown man. He's 30-something years old. He's getting there in age. He's been doing this for a long time. It's just like, let the guy do what he wants to do. Yes, it sucks that he's not straight edge anymore, because that was a big part of my childhood, or growing up as a young teenager, was the straight edge, and I'm still straight edge as a 25-year-old. I've been always straight edge ever since I was a little kid, but I solidified myself at 12 with the Diamond album from Stick to Your Guns. But it was funny seeing that. But and I was talking to my sister about it, and we were like, "Oh, that makes a lot of sense," because he was getting into a lot of arguments online about stuff. And I get it, he's always been like that, but it seemed like it was way more frequent, way more virulent than usual. And I think that's just because of the anxiety and all the anger built up from everything, really. So that, kind of came about. So, but I want to talk about that because it is a big deal. I saw a lot of people bothered by it. I'm a little bothered by it, but at the same time too, You know, the guy's his own person. You know, you can't change. There was this David Pakman bit from Diamond Album, basically saying you can't make people who they aren't, and they can't make you who you aren't. You know, you are who you are. You know, so and the be the best you can be, basically. Now on the flip side, literally the flip side of this note sheet I got here, we're going to be talking about video games and stuff like that. So the big one that I've been seeing is the Gears of War trilogy coming to PlayStation, and on top of that, there's a good chance that Gears of War 2 and 3 would be remastered and be put onto that trilogy pack for consoles, and for it also too is coming to Steam. There's the heater, so hopefully you can hear me okay. Sorry. Let me just move my phone over a little bit. There we go. So there's a real possibility that Gears of War 3 will come to not only PlayStation but also Steam, and also to Gears of War 2 and 3, maybe even Judgment, who knows, could be remastered. That would be really, really cool to see. Me personally, I love Gears of War 3. That's my favorite because that's actually where I started. I kind of play the games a little backwards. But Gears of War 4 is also up there. It's also one of my favorites. I played that game a lot. Gears of War 5, it's not bad. It's not horrible, but I'm not a big fan of the open world aspect. I kind of like the linear missions they did. So, but hey, more Gears of War players means more crossplay, means more cool stuff. Next would be more remaster stuff, and that would be remasters of Halo 3 to Reach. So that would include Halos 3, ODST, and Reach. And that'd be really cool because, like you said, I really love Halo Reach. And then remastering it, just even a little bit, would be really cool to see. I think they did a really good job with it with the Master Chief Collection. But seeing it fully redone or whatever, that'd be really cool. And seeing Halo 3 remastered would be amazing. Same thing with Halo 3 ODST. I think those would be really cool to see in the same engine as Halo 2 Anniversary. And I already talked about this with the State of Halo video. I'm going right back to talk about my other videos. That there'll be basically a reworked version of Halo's 1, I think, but mostly Halo 2. Mostly how it was supposed to originally end. I don't know the full details of it because I'm a little sketchy on it because there's a lot of political stuff going on with that, and I don't touch that stuff with a 5-foot pole. Halo and politics, they don't mix. I don't care what people say. So there's that, and then there's the Modern Warfare 3 remaster. Now I'm talking about the original Modern Warfare 3 that came out in what was it, 2011, I think? Yeah, it was 2011. That's one of my personal favorite Call of Duties. That's one of the first ones I started with by myself. And I think it's a pretty solid game. A lot of people have mixed feelings about it, but I think over the years it gained a pretty good cult following, especially with the campaign being the last one of the Modern Warfare trilogy, the original. So there's a lot of possibility that there's going to be a remaster of it, which would be really cool. There is a lot of things they could fix with the game, but also a lot of details they should keep, and I think that would be really nice to see as a remastered game. Next thing is, I found a video, I forgot what it's called, the video uploader and the mod, but basically it's a mod for Watch Dogs that not only adds in cut things from the game, but also adds a lot. And one of the things I really, really love, and I can't get enough of it, is that they added weapons that were supposed to be in the game or consoles exclusive. So I'll give you a few examples. The Beretta. The Beretta was the first gun we saw in Watch Dogs. It was supposed to be Aiden Pierce's main weapon, and it was showed up in trailers. Nothing. It was not in the game. I think it was in the files, but it wasn't in the game. It makes no sense whatsoever. then there is I call it the Raffica because it's a semi-automatic pistol, it's a 3-round burst pistol. That version, the 3-round burst, was an exclusive to the PlayStation 3, I believe. But they added it to the mod, so you can play it on console, so you can play it on computer. And then there is the MP12 or MP1412, something like that. It's basically the Rex revolver from Battlefield 4 main campaign. There, your primary side weapon. Excuse me. That was actually pretty funny. It was an exclusive to the Xbox, I believe 360, and you could only get it from Monster Cans with a specific code, but then there was a universal code that was found, so all Xbox 360 people have it, but then they took it, then they invalidated the code, so you can't get it anymore. And I actually had it for a while before my first account got deleted. There's a lot of really cool stuff in that mod. Maybe what I'll do is I'll add it in the description. But basically, honestly, any mod, I'm gonna say, you know what, fuck it. Any mod makes Watch Dogs 1 better. It's a good game to start out with. I think it really is. But there's a lot of improvement. So I think they did a really good job with that one. It's the main mod, is the top one. So there's that. And the last thing I want to do, and I didn't ask him yet, but I want to ask him, is my good friend Rarno. I think I've talked about him before. He's, I don't want to say anything actually because I don't want to spoil anything, but we've been talking a lot, and there was at one point where like maybe we should like play together and record it and put it on YouTube on his account or my account, whatever one we want to do. Because I got a Steam Deck, and what a Steam Deck is basically a Nintendo Switch, but it's basically a portable computer because you can play video games on it. Like Steam is literally, you play Steam games, so you play like Call of Duty, Halo, in my instance, Medal of Honor 2010, stuff like that. But you can hook it up to your TV, and then you can Bluetooth a Xbox, or I think even a PlayStation controller to it. So there's the real possibility that we may get some videos out there. But I want to hear your opinions too. I'm going to talk to him a little bit more about it. But yeah. But if you haven't already, go subscribe to Rarno. He is a good Dark Souls player. I have never seen anyone who does 100% games like those, and he's done it a few times on different video games. So go give him a watch, go give him a subscribe, go give him the love he deserves. Great individual, highly recommend the channel. So, well, sorry for all the weirdness in this video. Like I said, I don't know if you can hear me well. I'll have to listen to it afterwards. And sorry for the rambling in some areas and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm really tired. I'm at work. There's a fucking heater going on in the background. My mind's going a million miles per second. But I'm here and I'm doing stuff. So hopefully this week or next week, get that special video out. And then after that will be the special announcement on the project I've been working on for a little while. So stay tuned for that. As always, though, thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to my rambling and my bullshit. And hopefully I'll hear from you guys soon. Alright, take care.